Good evening, welcome to SVG Television News on Monday, October 6th. I'm Jimmy Prince with the details. After 3 months of investigation into an alleged case of salmonella, a root starch originating from this country has been given the all clear. It is fit for use. According to the Ministry of Agriculture, purchasers of the starch received the technical all clear from a laboratory in the United States, and a full payment of $266,000 has been made to the Root Association. The recent authorization comes weeks after an independent test conducted by the University of the West Indies revealed that the starch at the factory in Ovia was not contaminated with salmonella. In 2013, this country exported 26,000 pounds of starch and 45,000 pounds in 2014, reflecting a 75% increase in production. The ministry says the current demand for arrowroot starch from SVG stands at 120,000 pounds annually. The Root Association is expecting to export another 6,000 pounds of starch to the USA later this week at a value of $42,000, and to also place 1,000 pounds of starch on the local market. Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture Sobota Caesar said they are now seeking to conduct much-needed repair works at the factory in Ovia and the facility at Orange Hill. Authorities here will now be taking every possible step to ensure that the no-entry signs on the South Rayward Highway rehabilitation project are fully enforced to allow for the better flow of traffic. In this report, Jamisha Wright gives us an update on the project, which commenced almost 3 months ago.
While work is said to be progressing smoothly on the South Leeward Highway, getting motorists to adhere to and observe the detour signs is said to be posing a major challenge. The 21-month project commenced on August 18, 2014, and it's due to be completed on May 19, 2016, and will see 7.1 miles or 11.4 kilometers of road being rehabilitated from Hospital Road in Kingstown to the Louis Straker Learning Resource Center in Layou. Communication Liaison Officer for the project, Marlon Stevenson, told the SVG-TV News that the $25.1 million CBB-funded project continues to meet its targets.
And so forth, the levels of the road make sure that horizontals and vertical are better and more improved than at the present state.
Stevenson says although an approved traffic management plan is being implemented, changes are constantly being made to ensure the traffic runs smoothly as possible.
The agreement is that person should be at a particular point for no more than 15 minutes. But I came and I did some observation on timing, and what I recognize is at this particular point that we are at right now, the roads are narrow, and because of the hill steeper, what's happening is as the excavator pulls down, they have to stack the material and then load the trucks, and then someone else will go and clear the roads. And it's taken a longer period of time than when it was at the other side. But let me just talk a little bit about the flow of the traffic, because it's a concern that I have, especially for the stakeholders. We have a detour at the intersection going down to the industrial estate at Camden Park, and we expect traffic to go down that way if you're going to Leeward, go bottom Kitters, road to the valley, climb up to Spring Road, exit at Philwell's gas station, back onto the road to Leeward and continue your journey. A lot of people don't want to wait, so if they're going into Kingston, they get held up at the Kelly's Tire area, they turn back and go down the hill and so forth. We have put in a one-way sign there, and we're hoping very soon to have the police it to make sure that we have a better flow, because the roads are narrow on the bottom Kitters area and it's easily congested.
Meanwhile, Gabriel Glasgow, safety officer on the project, also expressed concerns with motorists disregarding the diversion signs.
Even though we have our signs placed at certain areas so that persons can detour, persons are still coming up. Even during working hours, even through lunchtime, once the sign girl is not there, they tend to come up. And I would like them to just obey and understand what we are doing here, because I'm not going to take the responsibility if they do come up and they get any little accident or anything like that.
I'm sure it gets pretty dusty around here. Tell us what safety measures are in place to address that particular issue.
Okay, well, for one, my workers have dust masks just to protect them against the dust. We have our water truck that comes around about 2 to 3 times a day to wet the area just to keep the dust down, especially at nights. So we do that at least around lunchtime in the afternoon once it starts up again, and then at night time so that it would be cool after that in the nights.
Glasgow also spoke of special provisions that are in place to ensure the safety of pedestrians.
Approximately about 10 pedestrians pass through here. So what I try to do is I try to stop the machines when they're passing, or at least guide them, like walk with them along, especially older folks and the residents of the area. I would walk them down and make sure they get through safely.
Some 69 persons are employed on the South Leeward Highway Rehabilitation Project, with 49 of them from the leeward side of the island and the remaining 20 from other parts of SVG and a few OECS countries. Reporting for SVGTV News, I am Jamisha Wright.
Some news on education now. Greater care and attention is needed in the recruitment of teachers into the education system here. That's the view of Deputy Principal of the Barley Secondary School, Philibert John, speaking on Hits Talk on Sunday, discussing the quality of teaching in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Sunday, October 5th, was observed around the world as Teachers' Day, and John said teachers have come a long way in this country and will encourage any young bright person to be a part of the teaching fraternity. He noted, however, that while they are excellent teachers, he would recommend that some find alternative careers.
We have a practice where we recruit teachers and we put them to the classroom. There's no necessarily no formal induction, no formal training, but I think that we can address that. Am I satisfied with the performance of teachers? Generally, yes, but as the topic said, there's always room for improvement, and I want to encourage teachers in my age group and my experience and background to adapt teachers and be mentors. I think that is something that is lacking.
Meanwhile, acting principal of the St. Vincent Grammar School, Curtis King, said one of the things impacting the state of teaching in this country is the emphasis that the wider society has placed and continues to place on certification.
And at all levels of our education system. And I believe that is putting a lot of pressure on teachers to produce results. And in seeking to produce results, some of the other holistic activities that as teachers we ought to engage in, those are taking a beating in favor of the activities designed to prepare the students to come with good results.
Meanwhile, King is of the view that there is a decline in the expression of love displayed by teachers to students.
I mean, teachers on a daily basis present all sort of support to students that goes beyond what is expected of them in the job, whether it's financial and other material support, whether it's spiritual in terms of counseling and the motivation and so on. Those are there. But I am saying the pressures on teachers now to produce the results is surely impacting in my way, in a negative way, in terms of those sort of activities, the pastoral care and activities that were associated with teachers of time gone by.
The school's cooperative savings program across the country is said to be approaching $1 million EC dollars. That's according to Registrar of Cooperatives, Cecil Jackson. He was speaking at a news briefing today to launch Cooperative Month 2014. Jackson noted that the Cooperative League has collaborated with the Ministry of Education, and to date 87 schools have functional saving programs.
In addition to that, in 2010 and continuing, we have collaborated with the General Employees Cooperative Credit Union, GECU, on an agribusiness enterprise initiative, along with the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Agriculture, in the production of poultry and vegetables. To date, there are 15 such schools, and the program is expanding and they are doing well. And we have gone so far globally in terms of networking with the Argentine government in the Ministry of Social Development on a project soon to be implemented called the Livelihood Enhancement Project and through Cooperative Development.
Meanwhile, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Small Business Microfinance Cooperative Limited, COMFI, has served 170 members to the tune of 2.3 million EC dollars since its establishment in 2012. Speaking at the launch of Cooperative Month 2014, manager Simone Murray said they are currently trying to expand their technical assistance program to provide assistance to a number of local entrepreneurs.
Because this is a very ticklish area. When you start a business, you need as much support as possible, not just money, and that is what we're here to provide. So we are happy that, again, the cooperative sector has seen that there's a need. They just don't want to lend you money and send you on your own. They've established a unit specifically to assist you, to help, again, which is the underlying currency of the credit unions.
Still ahead, this country forms a Sister Islands partnership with Matters Vineyard in the United States. More stories on the local scene when we come back. Welcome back. Still in the local scene, St. Vincent and the Grenadines now officially has a Sister Islands partnership in the United States. This follows the formalization of a relationship with the United States island of Matters Vineyard, located off Boston, Massachusetts coast. The Sister Islands relationship was formalized after the signing of a memorandum of understanding between this country's ambassador to the United States, Lacelia Prince, and the manager of Dukes County, Martina Thornton, whose role is similar to that of a mayor. The MOU covers a range of areas for collaboration, including fire prevention, management and training, education and library exchanges, fisheries, agriculture and tourism. Since the start of talks to establish the partnership, St. Vincent and the Grenadines welcomed a visiting delegation from Matters Vineyard in 2013 to examine and assess the capabilities and the needs of the SVG Fire Department. As a direct result of the visit, the team from Matters Vineyard has since collected over 35 oxygen tanks from the Matters Vineyard West Tisbury Fire Department to be donated to the SVG Fire Department. The equipment was officially handed over to Ambassador Prince at the MOU signing ceremony. Local police officers are still trying to come to grips with the news of the sudden death of a former colleague, Kimberly Lewis. Lewis, who joined the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force on August 12, 2006, and joined the Virgin Islands Police Force on August 18, 2012, died last Thursday. According to reports, the 31-year-old police constable was unresponsive when she arrived at Peebles Hospital in the Virgin Islands after falling ill at home. She was later pronounced dead. Police said the cause of her death is still to be determined. Earlier today, SVG-TV News spoke with some officers of the RSVG police force who say they are not only saddened but shocked by her death.
Death of one of your former colleagues, Kimberly Lewis. Tell us your interactions with her. You earlier off camera you referred to her as your riding buddy. Tell us your work relation with her, and also, how you reacted when you learned of her death.
Well, first of all, I came in contact with Kimberly when I now joined the force. I was enlisted in 2007. She was much of a motivator to me in terms of work-wise. She was a well-rounded police officer. We worked at the Connery Police Station together and also Georgetown Police Station. When I heard of her death, to be honest, I was very much shocked, because I have spoken to her over the telephone, because we always keep in contact since she had left the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force. And sometime in July this year, we spoke for about an hour. We spoke so much about so many things. We laughed, made joke, gossip a little as usual, woman stuff. And when I heard a friend telephone me and she was like, "Boyd, where are you?" I was like, "I'm home." She was like, "You sitting down?" So I was like, "No." So she said, "You need to sit down." And then she was like, "Lewis passed." So I was like, "Lewis? Who Lewis?" And then she said, "Kimberly." Trust me, I was lost for words. I didn't know what to say. I keep looking at my WhatsApp and looking at her picture to see if she would change it, hoping that it was not true and all of that. Lewis was very full of life. She loved her family very, very much. She always spoke about upward mobility and her mother and her father, which she loved dearly.
Meanwhile, according to Corporal Angela Byron, a military funeral is now being planned for Lewis, which will take place here. Byron says the tentative date for the funeral is October 18th and will see a contingent of 20 officers from the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force in attendance. While serving the RSVG Police Force, Lewis worked at a number of police stations, including Union Island, Caliacua, Bayabu, Georgetown, the CID, the RRU, and on the beat. 20 vulnerable local farmers were earlier today presented with vouchers and cash donations from the Lions Club of St. Vincent South. The donation by the club is part of the commemoration activities for International Service Day observed in a number of countries today, October 6, 2014. Speaking at the presentation ceremony, President of the club, Michael John, said the donation is their way of giving support to local farmers and the agriculture industry.
Today, we will be handing over vouchers valued at $700 plus $100 cash to 20 farmers. It is said, give a man a fish and he will have food for a day. Teach a man to fish and you will feed him for a lifetime. The Lions Club South is a service organization and we think that we could make a contribution in that area. Hence, we came up with this project.
Meanwhile, John says it is time for Vincentians to start feeding themselves instead of importing foreign foods. He pointed out that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been blessed with fertile lands, but he is disappointed to see the shelves in local supermarkets lined with imported produce that is also available here. He encouraged the farmers to be proud of who they are and to use their talent of growing crops to feed the nation.
Now, we in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we are blessed with fertile lands. Why can't we be feeding ourselves more? Why there are so many imported vegetables in our supermarket? Mind you, I'm not knocking the supermarket. We should go back to the lands. Feed ourselves more. Our plate on mornings should consist of more homegrown products, vegetables.
The Lions Club is one of the largest service organizations in the world with 46,000 clubs worldwide in 200 countries with a total of 1.3 million members. A prominent businessman of Annesville is now facing 2 criminal charges. Ken Thomas, 55, is accused of dishonestly handling household items belonging to Evelyn Jackson of Annesville in April 2010, and also conspiring with another male to remove the said items amounting to almost $79,000 from the property of Jackson at a later date of the same year. Thomas appeared at the Serious Offences Court earlier today and was not allowed to plead to the charges as they were laid indictably. Bail was allowed in the sum of $15,000 with one surety. He was also ordered to report to the Caliacua police station every Monday between 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. until January 29th, the date for the preliminary inquiry. 6 schools have been named to compete in the finals of the Lions Club Independence Public Speaking Competition. They are the Bishop's College Kingstown, Mountain View Academy, Central Leeward Secondary, Girls High School, the SVG Boys Grammar School, and the St. Joseph's Convent, Mariacroa. The finals will take place on Wednesday, October 22nd.